Yeah.
Civilized.
All right, grasshoppers. Ron was just telling us a very educational story. During this pandemic time, he's doing a lot of homework and stuff. We won't talk about it right now, though. Okay.
No.
How's everybody doing?
We'll keep that till we all meet at the garbage dump there.
Okay, that's right. That's
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Definitely.
Or Manhattan.
So, Dave, I got to ask you, what's with the Michigan hat?
My youngest guy
stands for Maloney.
Went to Michigan.
Oh,
Decker. He was a lacrosse player there.
Oh.
And when I put it on, like I had my second son, Danny, who turned 35 on Tuesday.
Right.
He went to UConn, and Brookie, my daughter, she went to St. Lawrence. So I got to get UConn and St. Lawrence hats.
Yeah.
Just to round out the.
I don't know if they make Northern Michigan hats. I don't know if they'll be all toques.
Toques, yeah. With the hat. Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold up there. Gresh, how you doing?
Yeah.
So you went and got some light bulbs? You need to put them in the lamp, though.
Who? Me?
Yeah, you're in the dark again.
Well, I don't understand this, Tom.
Well, you get the lamp. You get the light behind you.
Oh, that's right. Hold on a second, you guys. Stop it.
People want to see your face.
No, they don't.
They want to see your rear end.
Yeah. So as we go to technical assistance here.
Yeah.
Shay Greshner. Shay Gresh.
Hey, listen to me. I did a thing today, Tommy, and somebody on the Zoom goes, "Are you losing weight?" And I go, "I'm on the Tom Laidlaw thing." He goes, "Tom Laidlaw thing?" So you're going to be getting new customers.
There you go. Fasting.
I'm not sure about that fasting for 12 hours, though.
Okay, let's get something straight. There is no fasting for 12 hours. You have to fast for beyond 12 hours. So you have to fast for 16 hours.
No, I did it the first time for 7 hours, and I thought I was going to have another heart attack.
Well, you did it for 19 hours.
Yeah.
It's 12 plus 7. Come on.
I know. I did it for 7 hours after the 12.
Okay.
You said the 12 hours doesn't really count. It's what you do after that.
No, that's not true, because your body's burning up all the calories during that 12 hours, Ron.
I had an apple at 3 o'clock this morning.
Was that during the fast?
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah, you don't want to shock the system, Gresh. I think you're doing it the right way. Just ease it in. You don't want to just shock the system.
Tommy wants me to get up at 3:30 and go walking like with the coyotes and stuff. He's got a shot at that. Hey, listen, he has a better shot at winning the lottery.
You know what, Chris? Maybe I'm thinking too that we don't spend enough time together. Maybe what I'll do is when I do my shot of ginger and turmeric, I'll bring one over for you.
I would like that.
Just leave the door open. I'll walk up to your bedroom and give you the shot. You can go right back to sleep.
What time are you coming over?
About 3:45.
Well, make sure you knock and make sure you say it's Tom, because my gun goes off by itself at that time in the morning.
Dave, I know we talked about this. Dave, you're really into the health food and everything too, right?
Yeah, healthier eating. I mean, the turmeric and ginger, I haven't heard that one. What do you start your day with that?
Well, I had been starting my day with that, but because I'm doing the fasting,
that's your name.
I moved that past till noon when I have my first meal. So my first meal is the turmeric and ginger, and then I have my smoothie with the avocado, banana, protein powder, power greens, and all that stuff.
So power greens are what? Kale,
chard, and spinach. Yep.
Well, Tom, it seems to be working for you.
Thank you, Ron.
You look healthy. You look good.
Are you giving me a compliment?
I don't. Something must have happened. I must have fell out of bed this morning.
I'll call you
my head.
Tommy, he couldn't even say the word. Whatever. You look good.
You know what I mean.
How's everybody doing with the? We don't want to talk politics, but the election. Everybody, it seems like a lot of people are stressed out about all this.
Don't care right now. Whatever happens, happens. You go with.
Yeah.
I hope.
That's whoever wins, that's your president, right?
Well, I said the same thing in 2016. I said, hopefully now this is a moment where we can, let's get off the partisan high horses here. And I'm not quite sure that happened, but, it's almost like a new starting line, and it's a funny time with everything that politically has gone on and with the COVID. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on now that, people, on one hand, everybody expresses they know. When it comes to politics, I know and you don't know seems to be the rhetoric, right?
Oh,
You know, with COVID, nobody knows. Nobody. So anyway, I'm hoping.
What I know about politics, you can put in this sentence right here.
What? Well, I agree with you, Dave. I hope what happens, whether you voted for whoever wins or not, listen, that's the president. We want the country to be successful. So back the president and, want him to be successful, the country successful. Well, that's my view, but.
Yeah, I just think if we could just, here's I also think too, if you argue, you really don't get anywhere. So you got to figure out, I think you all have to figure a way to listen a little bit and be willing to concede at some point. Concession is not a bad, just up for the, you just hear the,
yeah, I know
what's going on. So anyway, it's, it was a tense time. I mean, it sounds like the president, I think there was a lot of thought that his base was pretty narrow, but it wasn't. There's a big part of America that kind of believes in what this current president has to spout. So
I agree.
It's got to, anyway.
Everybody get along and let's stop talking about politics.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't like you two guys, but I get along with you.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
we put up with you. We put up with you for an hour.
Yeah, that's right. We got 1 hour a week to get along.
An hour a week. That's my limit.
Okay.
1 hour and 1 minute. I got to go.
Well.
All right. So hockey talk. The Rangers signed Strome to a 2-year, $4.5 million per year deal, so $9 million. So I think he probably, in my mind, took a little less than he thought he could get, maybe if he'd gone to arbitration. But I think it's smart by him, right? He's got a great spot here. Still very good money. It's a 2-year deal. I thought it was a good move by him.
I think.
Go ahead, Gresh.
I think it's a great move by him. I think he's a young guy. And I think this team's on the upward slope. And, you never know after that. The team gets rocking and rolling like they were when the whole thing happened, when all the shutdown was. And he's got a chance, 2 years, to prove himself to be even a better player.
Right.
He's playing with some great players, and the upside's there for him.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think it's good for Ryan for sure. And I once again, I commend Jeff Gorton.
Yep.
Getting him priced right in a 2-year deal in a time, again, maybe the environment, the pandemic actually in a certain way helps the management side because you don't, again, how many long-term contracts towards the end of those long-term contracts, you go, boy,
yeah,
this is a great deal.
I think he's doing a great job, Gordon.
Yeah.
You know why they did a great job too? They had the leverage of the walkaway, right? So the walkaway, the award can come in, and then the team can walk away from the award. And then he's out there trying to find a job now. I mean, when other guys are still free agents like Hoffman and everything are still out there, haven't been signed. So, and they're smart. They use that leverage. That's where they should.
Yeah. And
you mean he can walk away? I didn't know that. In arbitration.
The team can walk away.
So I did that when I was an agent. I had Brian Berardi, he's with the Boston Bruins. We went to arbitration, and the Bruins told us they were going to walk away from the award if it was too high. So what they did was they put in a number, their offer that was higher than they normally would have, thinking that the arbitrator would then give him a higher award. They can then walk away. So we just then said, okay, we'll accept the award. we're sitting there at arbitration, and the arbitrator say, okay, let's get going. And we announced, okay, we're going to accept the award. And the arbitrator's looking at us like he didn't understand the CBA. That wasn't
right.
Role.
Right.
I didn't know that. I thought it was cut in stone.
They have the right to match, or they have the right to accept, or the team has the right to walk away. Right. Now, again, if you're Strome, and I'm not sure for having them walk away. So I thought I saw the Ranger number was at Strome's number was at 5.6.
Something like that. Yeah.
I thought the Rangers number was at 3.6.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So, they settle in the middle, for 2 years. There might have been an issue with term, but if you're I just think, for a big cap team, to have somebody walk away, the Rangers were not going to walk away. They weren't going to walk away. They're a big cap team. They had the room.
I wouldn't be surprised if they walked away. If the number was too high, I mean, that only leaves them with just under $4 million of cap space, and that's only 11 forwards and 6.
Yeah, but who else is out there to sign? Now they've got what do they have left? $4 million? Is that what you said, Tom?
Just under $4 million, yeah, and they still got. I mean, that's only 11 forwards too. So
yeah, well, they have. So again, but he's an asset. I think we've talked about him the last couple of weeks. I just really like his flexibility. I like I just like that A, he's shown he can play with a great player in Panarin.
Yeah.
And B, if Hedl looks like he's the guy that's going to be that second center iceman, then you put Strome out in the wing. You know, he's just a really good
he's got some character. He's got some character too, right? I mean, when you have young kids like that, they're just finding the way through the league. You have a guy like that in the locker room is good.
How old is he? How old is he?
26, I think. 20. I think he's 26. He was an old same draft as Zibanejad. I think he was.
Wow.
So
how do you think Ottawa is feeling right now on that Zibanejad trade?
Well, they've done a lot of things. I mean, Carlson, the defenseman, they had to get rid of. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. Again, it's a smaller market Canadian team, and the problem they're going to have is attracting free agents, right? And the guys that come to free agency, you're going to have to really lay down the hammer to keep them, and particularly non-Canadian guys.
Yeah.
I think the Canadian guys, you know what, but you get a guy like Carlson who, but again, if you're Ottawa, the way it's turned out for Carlson, you get the bad foot injury, right?
Yeah, he hasn't played well. Yeah.
He has not. That 2017 playoff series against the Rangers, he was about as good a player as anybody has ever been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that whenever a big play had to be made, he made it.
You remember that pass he floated through the neutral zone, like from his own end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one he banked off Hank's shoulder
from the corner.
He done that like 3 or 4 times during the regular season.
Yeah.
They get down low. So he's a right-handed shot, right? Down low on the right side and fired it off of Hank's left shoulder in the net. You're like, where did that come from? So, but in the meantime, it's easy now in hindsight, right? So if you're Ottawa, and there's an issue with the owner there.
Yep.
I mean, they block off the top part of the building to make it look like the building's full.
Yeah.
And they have an issue with the rink. The rink is.
They built it.
Have you been in the rink in Ottawa?
No, I haven't. No.
It's about 35 minutes from downtown Ottawa.
Yeah.
And there's no public transit. There's one highway into the place. So getting in and out of there. Well, listen, they had great teams that were there, right? And but boy, oh boy, when it turns. But you give them credit. They get some. I saw somewhere where the Rangers were ranked as good prospects as there are in the league, or amongst the 31 teams, and Ottawa wasn't far behind. So,
no, they've done a good job now of straightening it out.
Yeah.
We need to address something too. Doug Sotar was practically begging to get on the show, and then when I contacted him, I can't make it, Tommy. Like, you think it's like playing hard to get? It's like they kind of
listen. You only get one chance in this show.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, and if the grumpy man is listening, and he knows who it is too, right? He lives out in Vancouver. The grumpiest
Mr. Congeniality.
Yeah, you're going to be getting a box in the mail. You grumpy, whatever you want to call yourself.
The worst, right? The worst personality in the National Hockey League. Yeah.
I talked to the Rangers today, and I've got a box coming for you.
Oh,
it might not be full of what you want, but it'll be full of something.
Well, I have to tell the story about Soapy, Dougie Sotar, right? So we're in St. Louis, and I go into I'm ready. I'm watching. There's Melnick posting, right?
He had somebody else spell that for him. He can't spell that.
See, that can't be him in his Facebook post either. There's a smile there, right?
I know, yeah. He didn't spell that. There's too many big words.
His twin brother.
There's no way you can spell watching and thanks. It's just not possible.
So I'm sitting in the press room in St. Louis. The Rangers are in town. And the guy sits down, and we start chatting away and talking about a lot of different things. And I get up and walk away. I have no idea who it was. And it was Doug Sotar.
Oh, is it?
So he was working for my brother at the time. He said, so he called Don. He was working for Arizona. He called Don. He says, that jackass brother of yours carried a conversation for 20 minutes. He had no idea who I was.
That's funny that he recognized you didn't know. That's good.
Yeah, I honestly, I called him after. And so the next time I saw him, geez, Doug, I'm sorry. I apologize so much.
Yeah.
He's, don't worry about it. We all change.
He probably didn't want to come on today because I scored 4 goals against him when he was playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Yeah.
What it was.
I think I had the puck somewhere too. I'll have to go find him when he comes on.
Yeah.
Well,
you wouldn't give me all the pucks. I had to take an old puck and make back then. One puck, that was it.
You scoring 4 goals in a goalie. That Tommy or I, you scoring 4.
Yeah.
Especially that dangle right, hold the puck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin around.
Yeah. He'd be out here looking this way.
And he'd be talking to everybody all the time, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
he'd go,
And talking to everybody all the time, right?
he'd go to the goalie. He'd say to the goalie, listen to me. Listen to me. And he'd shoot in.
Yeah.
I haven't said it today yet, have I?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. We got to get somebody to count. You said it like 10 times already. You don't even know. It's nothing wrong with it, Gresh. It's the way.
There's nothing wrong with it. Listen to me. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's just the thing. It's just it's interesting to watch. We should get somebody to count it.
Yeah. So
None of your friends, Ken.
So
Can't
Dougie
count that high.
he got traded to Winnipeg from that was the fall of '79, I think. Yeah, because that was when my story. My wife at the time, the wives had a dinner. I think her name was Nancy Sotar.
Your wife, your first wife.
My first wife. No, my first wife. I remember my first wife.
Remember?
Anyway, the wives were all getting together to have a send-off meal. And this is not a great story. This is a bad story.
No.
And actually, Jerry Gillis's wife and my wife get into, I had a little Honda at the time, get into the car, and there's a guy in the back seat of the car with a gun.
Oh. Wow.
So it's going to take them upstate, right? And so what happened was they went to on 87 in the Cross Island Expressway there, right? There's a big, you guys have driven by it 1,000 times if you come up 87. Anyway, they had to come back. They got gas. They were heading upstate. The guy made them turn around, right? And he wanted to get some cigarettes. So they went back, and Jerry Gillis's wife, who at that time was about 5 months pregnant. She was in the back seat. He got in the front passenger seat. She grabbed a hold of the guy.
Really?
Right? So the guy panicked and took off. And the better part of the story is when you talk about people. The gas station attendant observed what had happened. So they called the police. Then off his shift, he went to the local areas, local bars and stuff, and found the guy.
Wow.
And the cops got him. I was in the Bronxville police station. They took my wife and Jerry Gillis's wife to the Bronx there. That's where they took them, take statements. So I was on my way down, and the call came in that they found the guy.
Wow.
I ended up getting, I think, 2 to 6 or something like that.
Hey, you do remember your current wife's name, right?
Who?
You remember your current wife.
I remember if my current wife heard you ask me that question, she'd come down and kick my ass.
She doesn't want to show, does she?
No.
Good.
He's working. Thank God.
Yeah. Tom,
Anyway,
next wife's name?
that was my. Well, there's a couple points to that story. That was when Dougie Sotar got traded. That's why they had the dinner. And then, really, when you talk about people and people doing the right thing, that gas station attendant took it upon himself. So there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
There you go. I like it. That's very that's a feel good story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Pretty scary.
So Dave, you've been tied up in the hotel room more. Your wife's been through that. I've never had a gun put to me or anything. I don't know. I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is Dave calling. I don't know how he dialed the phone. He's all tied up.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about it now. You can laugh because I remember kind of peeking out the door after, right? Because Gresh is coming down. He's loaded with a wooden coat hanger.
I didn't know what to do.
Imagine if that robber saw Gresh coming with a goat and go, "Oh my God, I'm getting out of here. He's got a goat here."
Hey, and it wasn't a boomerang one either.
Yeah, you could defend those bullets with that coat
I
hanger.
figured I would just
He had
hit
the
that
hand.
thing at him. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know what to do.
I know.
That was the best thing I thought of right there.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I wouldn't know what to do either.
no,
I went up the stairs. I'm going. Dave was the floor above me, so I'm going up, right? And I'm going. Okay, that guy's coming down with a gun, not two guys or whatever. I'm going up with a clothes hanger. Like, I'm not in good shape. So I get up to the top and I peek out the door. And they were gone.
yeah, no, that was.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that haven't had the ability, obviously, to kind of find the humor in situations that could have turned ugly, but for whatever reasons, both.
Yeah, I'll give you one. I was in a after-hours place in Manhattan 40 years ago. Imagine that. And it was about 4 or 5. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning. And these two guys, there was a bunch of us at the end of the bar, inside the bar more, like to the end, These two guys are by the door, and they start arguing. So I'm going like, 5 o'clock in the morning, alcohol must have got to them, whatever. And we're sitting there, and there was me and some of these guys I was hanging around with. And one guy leaves, comes back in about 10 minutes, walks in with a shotgun, boom.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, listen to me. When I looked at the gun, it was a 12. What?
Hey, listen to me.
It was a 12. It was a 12 gauge, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's only got one shot left in that thing because it's over and under gun. I look up and I tell you what, dude, my shorts turn different color because we're at the end of the bar, no place to go.
Yeah.
And this guy's by the door. He turned around, looked at us, walked out. I go, time to go.
Yeah.
Got over to the door and we're peeking out to see what happened. He was gone. The guy was like laying on top, like his part of he wasn't in good shape. He was dead. I took off, never went back to the after hours place again.
Wow.
We should get t-shirts made up. Listen to me.
Listen to me. That'll be the new, it could be, the listen to me edition of In the Box.
It could be like a movement.
Hey, when you're in a room with 4 of your kids,
yeah,
and you're trying to talk, how does that work out?
Yeah.
Listen, but when you say listen to me,
do you yell, listen to me? Maybe if you just had the t-shirt on, you wouldn't have to say anything.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
You know what? This could be a whole movement, like
Black Lives Matter, or Me Too.
It's for parents. It's for teachers.
LTM.
Listen to me. That's something, Gresh. You're a brilliant human being.
Oh yeah. But that was 2 times when I moved into Manhattan in the 70s. I was out with remember Stevie Burnstill, Dave?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, sure.
So we were out drinking in the city. He was a New York City cop, whatever. We had a couple of cocktails and go to my apartment. Him and a couple other cops, and some girls, and the elevator goes up to the 27th floor where I lived, and it stops on the 20th floor. There's some guy half in the door, half out of the door. His wife did him in.
Oh, really?
He goes, "Welcome to New York."
Wow.
You guys,
you ever like middle of the day stories, Gresh? Like,
No.
drinking in the middle of the day,
or
no sense drinking. I'm not going to have fun.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering.
Yeah,
I remember our first trip to Florida. There was some fun in the middle of the day, like that first.
Our golf outing was the most fun of all.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I would.
we still have to get Brendan Lemieux. Brendan Lemieux is the last one, right?
Yeah, and his deal's like around $1 million, just north of $1 million too. So
yeah.
And we were talking before. His father represents him, the former Devil, right?
Devil, Colorado,
Montreal. Yeah.
Well, he finished in San Jose, right?
That's right. Yes.
He came back, right?
I remember we played against him the playoffs in '86. I think he was a rookie that year.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I went to run him over, and he knocked me on my rear end. He looks at me, he goes, "Did you run into a wall?" So next time he came near me, I cross-checked right in the face. Did you run into a fence? Come on, huh?
Well, I'll tell you,
He won about 4 cups, didn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, Montreal. I tell you, he's a big man.
Solid, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize how big he was.
Brandon's a big man also.
Yeah.
He didn't fall far from the tree there.
No.
We did an event down the city. There's Chris Kreider and Lemieux were both there, and Kreider was calling him Cowhead. I was dying laughing because Kreider's pretty funny. You get him at events like that.
He's pretty good. I actually played golf with him a couple of weeks ago, him and Mark Stahl. And he's pretty, Kreider's, he's had to kind of figure out, he's so smart, right? I think I told you Brian Boyle, you guys were both there. I remember when he introduced him at the alumni outing up at Sleepy Hollow when we had the dinner. He's like the dumbest smart guy he knows.
That's right. Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. The dumbest smart guy I know.
Didn't they had to put somebody up there to speak without knowing he was going to speak. It was like a last minute thing, and they had Miller up, I think. And actually, he was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There.
Pinky Miller's, he's funny. Got a good dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's when we honored Ulf and Anders.
That's right. That's right.
And
one of the funniest ones of those was when he honored Rod Bear, right? Because so we got up there started talking about all Rod's old girlfriends, and Rod's wife was sitting there.
Nice feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So Lemieux and the Rangers. It'll be interesting to see how this. I think the league's really trying to get this thing back on the rails some way, shape, or form. Right? Would you guys think that?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they want to play. Yeah.
Right.
I hope they do. I mean, I love watching it.
But I got to tell you though, I don't think unless they can have people in the seats, I don't see financially how they could do it. I mean, it's just the cost is.
There's no way. I think.
Well, couldn't they do that whole thing? Like Tom, we went to that golf outing, right? The whole check your temperature coming in and.
Right. Well, again, it depends on what the areas the politicians decide they can do. Right. I mean, up in the Ontario Hockey League, the politicians decided they couldn't have hitting. That wasn't the league that decided that. It's going to be.
The league's always been like that in Ontario.
All righty then. Yeah, on a relative basis, that's probably true.
Compared to Western.
Those Western Canadian guys.
They had some tough guys come out of that league too, boy.
Yeah. I read. Actually, I think it was on ESPN. There was a really good article, like a really sensible article moving forward and things. And then one of the angles they talked about was obviously the political angle, right?
Yep.
Whether you can do or not. I don't think there's any sense that the Canadian-U.S. border is going to open up. It's probably later than sooner. So, I know there's conversation out there about maybe having 3 hubs to start, 3 different areas.
But then, so no fans in the seats, though.
No, you would think. Well, again, I thought I read or heard that the Super Bowl they're going to try and have a crowd of 30% in there, and I know Commissioner Bettman and Bill Daley, Deputy Commissioner, at one point were saying that they were keeping a close eye on what the NFL does and how it works out, and. The reality now is, there's we're talking about more cases. So there's so much more testing, right?
Right.
And in this flu season, like my wife came down with my wife, Alex, I just remembered her name. Oh my God, you got to please do me a favor, edit that out, will you?
That's a positive, Dave. What are you talking about?
That'll never go live.
Yeah.
You should be happy about that.
Yeah. She came down with sore throat, running fever on Saturday night, Sunday. So right away you go for the COVID test, right? And probably what she has the flu, cold or the flu. Yeah. But now, because I think a lot of things have come into play here, and we're curious to see as we get into January and February where that all is, and can they have a vaccine or things like that. So from that standpoint, but you got to believe the players. After a while, when you're that age, you don't realize that you're going to spend the rest of your life probably not playing.
Right.
You got to believe that they'll be anxious to get going again at some point.
Yeah.
Are they willing to take less of their salary? Right. I mean, it's already going to be 80%. Because of the 20% escrow.
Right.
So
The Super Bowl's in Tampa this year.
Yeah.
How big is that stadium? 80,000? 60,000?
So like 25, 30,000 people, right?
No, but how big is the stadium?
I don't know what the
Yeah.
Tampa Stadium. If it is 80, that'd be 24,000 or 25,000 to get in. So if it's the Garden, it's 6,000 or 7,000, right?
But
So
it gets the difference between an indoor facility and an outdoor facility too, right?
yeah.
And then if you're only getting that number of fans, that means you're getting that prorated portion of profits, right?
Right. Well, I think if you have a belief that it's trending in the right way, as an owner, you might be willing to, okay, let's start it this way, and then see maybe by April, May, you can get 60% of people in the building.
I want to talk to you about just going right to a 48 game schedule or a 56 game schedule. Some of the talk out there too, right?
Well, I have a cure for the 6,000 fans that go to the Ranger game. Bring all the people that drink, and they that way look at the revenue you're gonna create.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Amazingly, when I was
Ron, once again, Ron proves the incredible human being.
no, that's good. We get right back down to the basics.
Well, if you have a bar, right? If you own a bar, and you can see 30 people at your bar. What do you want? 28 non-drinkers and 2 drinkers? No, you want.
Like for me, the building, the Garden never has the same edge. Well, maybe it's in hindsight, right? Like when the Islander Flyer rivalries, when those games came in when we were playing, right?
Oh, man.
Now, again, the tickets, you don't get the same fan in the same seat every night, right? You get those. Yeah. So there's more people coming in, and so I say, you want to crank the crowd up in the playoffs, sell the beer at $2 a cup, or sell the whiskey at $4 a glass. I swear to God, I was in Toronto on the sidelines this year. There were 2 guys right in the gold seats right behind me. We're drinking tequila all night. I swear to God, every round of the tequila was probably $30. Easy.
If there's 4 guys?
2 guys.
Oh, 2 guys. Oh, yeah.
Easily 30, 40 maybe Canadian. I'm telling you, those guys are making way too much money to be able to spend.
Yeah.
Drinking tequila. God bless him. Oh,
God. He was just about to tell a story too. He didn't say, listen to me. That's what you didn't say, listen to me.
I had a buddy of mine come to the game one time, and we drank 2 bottles of that blue, Johnny Walker Blue, whatever it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the shots were $65 a shot.
What?
Wow.
We gotta listen to me. I'm gonna say, listen to me. I gotta be hanging around with the right people then.
Listen.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Who cares? Listen, it's your credit card. Have a good time.
Yeah. Wow. So anyway, but back to the point. Then it would become. I'm sure this is all just conversation, right? For sure, amongst us 3. But then you go. All right, well, which 6,000 season ticket holders are going to be able to come? How do you put it? But I'm sure in this, you got to think with this day and age, people will be a lot more cooperative about kind of work things out. And okay, listen, we'll come up with this plan. Or
you have a lot of people that wouldn't want to go, right? There's still a lot of people that don't want to go.
That's another point too. Yeah. Is am I going to go?
Well, what you could do is you could have like you're going to put 6,000 people in there. You could have if you got 18,000 seats, so you take 9,000, the first 6,000 that come on for that game, you sign up to go in. What I mean? That have season tickets. So the next game is you're off that list, another list.
Yeah. And then we talk about the ventilation. This article made reference as time has gone along. There's more of an idea what you need to do. And there's been more of a time if you have a building that's really important that you get people in. I got to believe you should be looking at your HVAC units and stuff to make sure there aren't more parts that you can put in to make sure the air that's circulating, is going to allow you to get your doors open. Okay, that's checked off. I would think. But
that means you got to get Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, to agree to that too. I'm with you, Dave. Totally. A A lot of hurdles to get
I
over.
guess maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm thinking. I hope. I hope there are some forward thinkers when it comes to that. Maybe that it's not cost prohibitive because you don't, or it is cost prohibitive. Maybe because you haven't got traffic in there, you can't. I don't know. Seems to me.
Yeah.
But
I think the problem you'd have, even if you had 6,000 people, that like when they go to the bathroom, when they go to the beer line, they go to all those lines, they're going to have it's to stack up to get food and stuff.
Yeah, you're right, guys. But you know what? Like Costco, you go into Costco, people are in there now. I agree with you guys. It's just, yeah.
I think, again, any of the markets you go into, like a bigger building, there's space, I don't know whether I'm just, by and large, I really am confident that people are much more aware of that than.
You know where I think it matters where it matters where you are in the country too. I had a friend of mine come up from Florida. He was in Sarasota. He came up and he said people just aren't even wearing masks. So
yeah.
Hold it, Tom. You have a friend?
Well, you're right. I said it the wrong way. Yeah, somebody
you know.
I told him I'd buy lunch. Yeah.
I saw about somewhere you made a comment that actually Tommy was cited in a white T-shirt. Crash, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you make that observation?
Two times in a row.
Yeah.
A red one and a white one.
A red one.
It was kind of salmon colored, to be honest, too.
Was it salmon?
Man.
I'm sorry. I'm off a little bit.
I didn't
know it wasn't black.
Yeah. I got dressed in the dark. That's
yeah.
what I was putting on.
Yeah.
Tommy's lights are down low. They're black, right? His truck is black. His shirts are black. His hair was black, but that's gone.
So that 4:30 March is dark and cool, getting dark and cool, Tommy.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting too when you're out there and especially on garbage days because the skunks are out there and they think that nobody's going to be coming around, so they were having a field day with the garbage.
Right.
So I walk down the street and kind of yell as I'm going along to make sure I don't scare them, which is really interesting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning when the drunks are coming home from the bar and they're sitting outside having a cigarette before they go inside. And here I am walking down the street. They're wobbling back and forth. What you doing? What you doing?
Yeah, wow, dude.
It's pretty funny, seriously. It's
my God. Who
weird.
would have ever thought we got to this after all these years?
Yeah, no.
I'm out for a march at 4:00 in the morning.
So,
So how
okay,
about
what's the bottom line on Lemieux? What's the price going to be?
It's sort of just north of $1 million, I think, someplace. Yeah,
right, because he
You
just
know what he made last year?
I think it was 950 or something.
950. I think it was 950.
Yeah.
And again, he got hurt. So he got hurt. So he didn't have a great year. So again, he's looking to kind of get back. He's got to stay involved, right? And hope that it clicks in for him. And he still has a bit of a the learning curve to kind of play within. Like he get that hit. He got suspended for the 2 games, right? So the hit was a late hit on the goal in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last game and things like that. You can't do.
Yeah, and I thought there's some games too where he was really a difference maker, but like he has to play that nasty game under control, but nasty.
Right. You got to walk. Now, again, like it took Tom Wilson probably $1 million in fines.
Yeah.
To kind of figure, okay, at one point, I remember he went back, he'd been fined 2 or 3 times or suspended, and then he drills a guy at training camp game.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's. So you think if we're in the room now, right? If you're in the room, well, I guess it depends if you're a veteran or you're a rookie, right? And you see a guy you know is important. Like as a veteran, would you kind of take him out and say, Tom, listen, you're an important guy. We got to figure this out.
You would think so, right? The right leader,
right?
Part of his job, right? That he'd have to have that relationship and respect,
right?
Player that you take him outside and take him for lunch or whatever, and say, listen, you're a fantastic player, but we need you on the ice. You're hurting the team and your career. But
right,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I get it when the management and players defend because you got to defend your guy, right? Yeah. That's just the way we all work. But at some point, somebody's, and your point too is like, you're hurting yourself. You're
Yeah.
let alone, we need you.
That was kind of what amazed me, like Brad Marchand with all the licking all the time, like especially in that locker room with Patrice Bergeron and Zdeno Chara, and he was continuing to do it. I was like, I couldn't believe that they wouldn't have gone to him and say, "What are you doing?" Like,
Or even Neely, or one of the, and maybe they have, or, and maybe they're just okay. The guy's an all-star. The guys, but I don't know. It's just kind of an odd dynamic. I remember JD was that for me.
Yeah.
When I would lose my mind, he would, okay, let's go to the mug and have a beer, like a JD therapy session, and it was great. It was great.
I think it started earlier than the mug.
Yeah, maybe.
By the time the mug came around, you were like here already.
So, how did you take that when JD? Did you accept it more because it was JD and who he was and the respect thing?
Yeah, I think so. And I was actually, Gresh is right. I think when I was younger, not anybody said anything to me, but it was when I got a little bit older and should have known better. Older. I was 25.
You were young. Well, no, you were younger than that, Dave. I remember when you were 18, for Christ's sake. Things were flying around all over the place, but I think some of that was just you wanted to play so bad, and you wanted to get from probably up to here or up to New York, I should say, and you just for those first couple of years, it was like I don't think there was a stick left. The ball went in, there wasn't a stick left in your rack.
My point is, no. Listen, I'm not going to apologize for being competitive.
You shouldn't.
But I think along the way, as you age, there are different ways of doing that, and I respected JD, or an older guy. In our career lives at 26, 27, let alone 30, you're becoming an elder statesman there, right? You can't be acting like it. You can't be throwing shit and stuff.
Yeah, but you still had that fire.
Yeah,
But it was more like this.
Right.
Can you see my hands now?
Yeah. The wick was a little bit longer.
It was.
Yeah.
Listen, that was one of the reasons why you were.
Hey, listen, I still, believe me, like as much as I think I've lost that, there are times I haven't lost it. I still lose it. But
you should see me in college. I was terrible. I ran into an old assistant coach, and he told me that there was times in practice that if I ever got knocked down, they would all get together, the coaches, and considering canceling the practice because they didn't know what I was going to do. That I was just going to lose my mind. And he said that to me. I said, "What?" I just didn't remember. But yeah, I think it was the same thing. I wanted to play in the NHL so bad. I knew that I wasn't a good enough player to just make it because of a player. I had to be on a team atmosphere, and I wanted the team to win. Yes, because there was
Who was that guy you fought in Toronto?
What's that?
Who was the guy you fought in Toronto? I think opening your first game or something.
Robert Picard. It wasn't much of a fight.
No. Well, it was. Well, you were fighting. He was receiving.
What had happened was they hadn't told me to get a place to stay yet. That was Freddie was the coach. So I hadn't really made the team. The first game was in Boston, shoot it in my own net. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a good start, right? And Freddie had pulled myself and Chris Katsopoulos and Eddie Hospodar aside and said, "No, listen, you're all 6'2", 215 pounds. I'm not telling you to fight, but you're not going to play the first 5 minutes of the game. You're not going to play the last 5 minutes. What do you think you can do to help this hockey team?" So I'm carrying the puck through the neutral zone, and Robert Picard butt ends me in front of our bench, and the bench jumps up and goes yells because this is a butt end. The referee hadn't called anything, so I thought I got to do something here. So I stood up and I just suckered him, knocked him out cold, center ice, and didn't give him a shot at all. Just stood up. And the funniest thing was Daryl Sittler comes skating over towards me, and he's got the F-bombs going. I'm going to get you laid low. And honestly, God, I'm thinking to myself, because I grew up in the Toronto area, obviously, and I'm watching Daryl Sittler as a kid. And I'm thinking, I want his autograph, that's my thought. I'm out in the ice and he's coming at me, and then I had to kind of snap to it. And now had the FU fight. My poor mother and father at the game. And next day in the paper, we had an article about the local boy being suspended with a vicious hit and all this. My mother was devastated because that's not how she visioned the whole thing was going to go. So.
Well, I tell you, there were three tough guys. You, Boxcar, and Kotze. Yeah. I mean, holy cow! When you think about we had those teams with Freddie. Interesting, right? Freddie's, because you think of the Flyers, right?
Yeah.
How many times he probably not a lot of times he had to tell. He just knew.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that we had a tough team. Like you go back to that brawl we had in LA, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
I remember I was playing left wing for the last dozen games or whatever it was that season with the two Swedes, right?
Mm.
Maybe it was 15 games, whatever. We go into Philadelphia. And you guys, like, you just said all these guys that are, Nikki was there, you were there, we were all there. Hospital, Kotzi, Bubba, whatever.
yeah.
I remember going after the first period, I come in, I go, what are you guys worried about? They don't do anything.
Yeah.
They were tapping me in the legs, going like, hey, you okay? And we like, this is not that hard playing forward here.
Yeah, no. And listen, when I talk about compete, when I was thinking about all of us, I don't think there's a guy gets to the league that doesn't compete.
Yeah.
I think there are different ways to show it, and I think everybody should be respected. And because if you don't have a compete level, I don't care if you're the most laid back guy on the ice or not. There is a point. That's why I talk about Panarin, right? But I'll tell you, when there's a time he's made a bad play or he's pissed.
Yeah.
I mean, you get mad at yourself.
It comes in different ways,
Right.
way. Like you can compete by you don't have to fight to be a competitor.
Right.
Maybe it's just a work ethic that you never back.
Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. Right. So that's what I think. I just wanted to make sure it was on record of saying, listen, nobody gets, and we've talked about this before. Nobody gets to that level in the best league in the world without knowing what it means to compete.
Yeah.
Okay, before I forget, guys, too, and I don't want to dwell on this too much. We talked about that. So we when we were on the show last week, there was a young player that was drafted by Phoenix, Miller, I believe it was, right, in the 4th round, and he'd been charged with the bullying and abuse and all the things, and we didn't know all the details and what he had done or not done to follow up with it. And right after that, it had nothing to do with our show, but Phoenix released him, so it kind of renounced their draft pick. And he was at the University of North Dakota, and they threw him off the hockey team as well. So finding out some of the details of the stuff that he did was just like,
Well, and also too the details, and evidently there wasn't enough remorse, again. But there were teams, I guess he really, at that part of the draft, on an analytics basis, it was pure analytics, he was really on the top of the chart. And there were teams that their analytics guys were fighting for him. You wonder how it gets to a certain point. But that being said, and I think you got to hope, or maybe it's hope, or maybe I hope the kid, some way or another, gets to a point where he can get another chance.
Right. But the issue is that, to me, both probably more from his parents, it doesn't seem to be, from what I've seen, they didn't do anything. They didn't get him to go to the family and apologize.
Right.
And apparently he was supposed to be doing that. He didn't do that. And plus, take some action. Like, you take it and say, okay, there's a terrible thing that's happened. Now let's find some way to make it a positive. Like, help the other family, help other people that are abused.
Be proactive to the degree that, I agree. So anyway.
Yeah. So I want to make sure everybody knows, because we kind of were saying, and rightfully so at the time, because what we did or did not know, we're saying, well, let's give the kid another chance. But after seeing all the details,
right,
a little different. So
it's a tough call.
Right.
Definitely.
Those kids, you got to think of, it's like a lot of things. The kids that are in their last year junior this year, COVID's certainly affecting them. Yeah. I think the Ontario League and the Central, or the American Hockey League, are going to try and play in February. I thought I saw that. So it's a difficult time on a number of fronts. So,
Dave, you got some swag on today too, don't you? Like, you're showing off.
Yeah, I do. I'm jumping right on the Lafreniere
bandwagon.
Yeah, family. I actually got sent this by Upper Deck. And
you got yours on, Gresh?
Unlike Gresh, who gets paid probably for stuff like this, and maybe.
Well, let me check the door outside. Maybe.
So and it's So I thought I'd
It's nice.
Put it on. It's like a hoodie, trying to. I like to say I'm trying to be cool, but that's not the right word because I'm just.
You are cool. You are cool.
Well, I'm not cool.
You're very cool, Dave.
Yeah, here's your own version of cool. It's a different cool.
Yeah. A different cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell Tom does a lot of podcasts.
So anyway, yeah, that's for we're talking Lafreniere, of course. It doesn't sound like that. I guess the kids. I can't remember offhand who. Oh, it's the kid from Chicago that was picked 3rd overall last year. He's going to the World Junior, camp for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Schneider, the kid the Rangers drafted in their 2nd pick in the 1st round, he's going to World Junior camp.
Yeah.
Well, World Juniors, they're going to play in that kind of hub deal. But I haven't seen where Lafreniere is committed to do that. Now he's been there back-to-back years, right?
Yeah.
What's that going to do? I mean, if it
yeah.
Do you think he'll play or not play that? Are they going to have that still starting around Christmas time again?
Yeah. And we're going to do it in like the hub set. I think in Buffalo, right? It'd be because they don't need to. So the issue would be the Canadian. No, there's no issue about. I don't know. I thought I saw Buffalo because there wouldn't be.
Don't get mad, Dave.
I know I told the story before. I'll never forget that golf tournament you started walking away. It's like you can tell that you was doing everything you can just to hold it in there, and you had it all under control. But then I thought to myself, you got to jump. It was up in Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun, one of those places.
Dave's going to jump on 95 in the middle of rush hour traffic. How's that going to go?
Yeah. Well, that's like evidently I haven't because my wife and I were talking. Alex, my wife and I were talking last night. She said, "How about you in traffic? Like, what's the deal with you in traffic?" So right away, I go, "What do you mean?"
But it's not just you though, Dave. And you get on the Merritt Parkway. I think every Subaru driver in the Merritt Parkway wants to drive in the fast lane at 45 miles an hour. It's the Subaru.
They don't go faster than 45 miles an hour.
Man,
they don't. I hate to categorize, but I agree.
Yeah.
You pull up.
And then the funny thing is, I say to myself before I get on, I said, Tom, calm down. You're not going to get mad. You know what you're facing. Like 15 seconds and your blood pressure's right out, gone.
You want to talk about road rage?
Yeah.
You're one of your ex-teammates that's from Staten Island.
Oh.
He this is a long time ago, but he was coming back from the Cape, right back to New York. He's coming down 95, whatever it is, and some guy cut him off. And imagine Nicky getting pissed, right?
Yeah.
How often would that happen? So the guy's cutting him off. So Nicky goes up next to him. The guy's getting him his finger and cutting him off, and Nicky can't get a hold of it, can't catch the guy. I mean, because he can't. What's he gonna do? Can't pull him over.
Arm off the road.
They got to a toll booth. And the guy pulled up to the car. Nicky pulled behind him, so the guy couldn't back up or move forward. He got in the car and he ran back, and the guy was trying to close his window. He's going, like this, out of the car, through the window, bang, off the roof, laid him down, got back in his car, and went through the toll booth and left.
Another Nicky story. We were leaving LaGuardia Airport, and as usual, there was construction there. So they had the construction cones, and we were behind Nicky. So just joking around, we snuck up and put a cone on top of his hood of the top of his car, so he doesn't know it's there. Now he's driving through the traffic at the airport, and some cop stops him and tries to accuse Nicky of stealing the cone. So now Nicky's mad because he has no idea the cone's up there. He doesn't know what the guy's talking about. And plus the guy doesn't recognize Nicky, So Nicky is just fuming. We had to get out of the car and say, "Officer, please, we did it. It was Nick Fotiu of the Rangers." Nick was still just like fuming. Oh, God.
I was with Nicky a couple of times with some beauty. Oh, my God, scary. We were sitting in the car one night, like I had it. This is quite a while ago, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and we're leaving the parking lot, and Nicky had his beer that meant the most, and I had my 15 shots of tequila. So, so some guy walks up to the car. I go, "Nicky, I think he's got a gun." And the guy's walking up to his door, right, and the guy's like leaning like this here. Nicky, poof, opens the door up, gets out. The guy's laying there.
Yeah.
I just wanted an autograph.
No, he didn't. He was bumming money or something, whatever he was doing. I think he's got a gun.
Yeah, I have one of those. Well, yeah,
I got one really great story, but I can't tell it.
Yeah, I've got a few road rage stories myself. Or one time, so I'm running late. So my Danny's probably 10, 11 at the time, right? So I think I was coaching his team. We're heading up to one of the prep schools in Brewster. Anyway, so I'm driving like a friggin' maniac in the back roads. So I pull around a guy. And I'm speeding, and then I pull up the stop sign. The guy pulls up in front of me, gets out of the car. I roll down the window or push the button down the window. I said, listen, you better have a gun. If you don't have a gun, you better get back in your car. I'm going to beat the piss out of you. I turn around. I have 3 10-year-olds in the car. They're like, I'm like, when I think about it now, same thing. I'm like, oh my God.
That happened to me in a parking lot last year. And you know, they got that white stuff the guys can walk across the street or across the road in the park. Yeah. So I pull up with my son, my youngest son. He was only about 300 then. And so this guy's walking, so he stops and goes like this. I waved him, right? So he goes, no, he goes like this. So I pulled ahead a little bit and he starts walking. And he walks by me, he starts hollering at me, where'd you get your license? What do you need? My son goes, get out of the car. I says, you get out of the car. So I opened the door up and the guy was going into a grocery store. And I get out of the car. This was about 3 years ago, I waited about 3:20. And I get out of the car, and the guy's walking like this, hollering back at me. I'll come over there in a second. I go,
yeah, right.
Like he's giving me. I told him go walk. He's going.
Get for being a gentleman, Ron. That's what you get for
trying to be nice. You know, he was about 5'8", 130 pounds too.
Yeah,
when I go to the bathroom, I flush bigger than that.
There you go. On that note,
that was a nice way of saying it, wasn't it? It wasn't like there was
no. That's good.
Those are moments now I look back and I get the whole anger thing, but oh man.
I don't remember playing golf with you in Florida. Did you even hit one club anywhere bad?
No. Well, that was a story. I had to play well. I'm a lefty, and so Gresh plays 9 holes left-handed, then plays 9 holes right-handed, and he beats me on both sides. So I must have been on really good medication or something like that.
remember one shot they had those markers up for the thing, and I hit the marker. I don't remember who was with us. It went right by his head. Oh,
I remember we did the ice hockey in Harlem golf thing, and I was doing the live auction, and you had your foursome, and I was joking around with them, saying did you guys sign a waiver and all that kind of stuff? And you were there, and then you left. I went back to them. I said, "Okay, so tell us, did he snap?" And they were going, "Oh yeah, it was unbelievable." That's right.
Yeah. Now it's all part of the deal. Like people think an idiot or maniac didn't
have
something or
people are paying money.
When we were down at Hilton Head, we were back out with a couple we went down for, and they had an over under on what hole would be the first F-bomb. And I didn't even know them. Like I only met them when we got down there, and so. And the wife, she was great. She had me like 2 holes.
She was one short.
Yeah.
How long did it last?
That's golf. So,
when did you do the first F-bomb?
Oh, probably on the range. That's like when I start throwing clubs on the range. That's going to be a bad day. Good day. It'll be a bad day. Yeah. MF and clubs on the range. I go, oh boy, it's not good. Don't have that anger management skill down quite yet.
Well, They make a nice sound though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so next week, we'll show we'll know who the president is for sure. I think we already know anyways, but we'll have that nailed down. Should we do like any like wear something patriotic or something like a?
Sure.
I don't think next week is going to be done yet.
You don't?
Can be done?
Well,
I mean, Nevada's saying they need another week.
I did see where they somebody in Pennsylvania, I think they had like 35,000 more votes to count up, and they went on a day. They took a day off. So,
well, here's the thing. I think in the long run, if it takes time to get the votes counted at a time during a pandemic where there were record people voted, you know what? Take the time you need. Because I think it's a credit to the civic responsibilities during this time that people found ways to vote.
Yeah,
I don't think that much will change our life in a week.
No.
All right, maybe by next week we'll have some swag too from the Frenier, and we can wear it with Dave.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go check outside right now in front of the door.
Right.
Somebody probably knew it was there. They stole it.
Yeah. Maybe Dave stole it
I
actually.
did get a box of stuff today, though. I did get a box of stuff today.
Maybe Dave stole
it's
it.
in
Maybe
that
Dave
box.
knew you were getting it.
Oh yeah, this
What?
is one of three. Oh, one of three. Yeah. So sorry, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're rolling. Guys, bye.
See you, Gresh.
Look it.
Look. It's got in there.
I got a
I'm
box.
gonna get those t-shirts made up. Listen to me.
All right. That was
2
fun.
dozen pairs of socks for my boys.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
See everybody next
Okay.